That's right. You read it correctly. 192 Sundays we've been together. Welcome to our Sunday gathering for our newcomers, our first timers. You don't know our cast of characters, but this guy sitting over to this side of me is usually 3,000 miles away in England. And he and Scott are here visiting. He came for Thanksgiving and they're heading off to New Orleans on Tuesday. So we're also joined by the most handsome Phil Dykes, who has created our theme for today. But on behalf of the three of us, we welcome you. We've had the Sunday gathering going on for a long time, always wishing to bring you some joy, some comfort, some inspiration, that connection that life after death is real and our loved ones are all around us. So I'm going to turn it over to Phil, who has created our theme today. Hi, Phil.
Hi, Sandra. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is a pleasure to be here, and I hope you're enjoying the music so far. And I also hope that you're enjoying those beautiful smiles that are all smiling towards you from Sandra, Darren, and myself. And Kerry is holding you dear within her heart. And unfortunately, she can't be with us tonight as she's with family as we travel to the States tomorrow. But I chose the theme of today, which is love and devotion. And you can all sort of get the impression what love and devotion is, or can you? Because I'm quite interested to listen to Sandra and Darren speak on to what they've got to say about it. Because all three of us will be sharing the address. But as you can see, as always, Sandra is introducing everybody. She's making everyone feel at home because that's what the Sunday gathering's about, a community, a home. Darren is also here, as you can see, smiling right at the side of it. It's a cuter smile, Darren. And as you see that cheeky little smile of Darren's, okay, he's going to be sharing the address. He's also going to be doing the opening and closing prayers, but he's also going to be giving his power, his love to this service this evening, because it's all about you guys. So without further ado, I'm going to hand over to the lovely Darren, who will be followed by Sandra doing the reading and healing.
Hello, everyone, and thank you, Phil, for that wonderful introduction. I hope my smile is cute to some of you, maybe not all of you, but hey. And who would believe 192 Sunday gatherings? But I'm here today live from the United States, which is an unusual thing for me to say. I've always done these Sunday gatherings back in England and in a room on my own, but I'm here in the United States with this wonderful lady by my side. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, if you'd like to close your eyes and join me for today's opening prayer. To our dear friends, helpers, and loved ones of that world we call unseen, we come together here once again today, united as one from different countries within our land. We come together here, united under that umbrella of We Don't Die. Each and every one of us are united here today to play our part and be of service in any way we can in uniting the two worlds together as one. As we come together here united today, we cast aside our own wants, our own needs, and our own desires, so that we come together for the greater good of all of mankind and truly make a difference within this world. In coming together here today, we enter into this gathering with no demands or no expectations, but just allow those words and thoughts from those in the world unseen to cascade through the minds of our workers here today for each and every one of us to embrace upon and leave this Sunday gathering feeling joyous, healed, and uplifted. Each and every one of us finds an absolute joy and privilege to be here today, walking hand in hand, side by side, and once again allowing ourselves to fall back into the arms of eternity and immersing ourselves in that unconditional love and healing balm from the unseen world. As we come together here today, we come together in a knowing and understanding that race, religion, location, and language spoken holds no barriers or boundaries to those in the unseen world. Each and every one of us is equal in the arms of eternity. As we open up this Sunday gathering, we do so with smiles upon our faces, positivity within our hearts and minds, and love in abundance, so that we can truly create that perfect meeting ground in which the two worlds can come together as one. And we ask as always that healing balm, that healing light continues to shine to all four corners of our world to bring that healing and comfort to all those hearts and minds that may be in need on this day. So without further ado, my friends, we welcome you here today. Amen.
Thank you so much, Darren. Lovely to have him by my side. Well, I have two short stories today for you about love and devotion. So here's the first. A college professor had his sociology class go into Baltimore slums to get case histories of 200 young boys. They were asked to write an evaluation of each boy's future. In every case, the students wrote, "He hasn't got a chance." 25 years later, another sociology professor came across the earlier study. He had his students follow up on the project to see what had happened to these boys. With the exception of 20 boys who had moved away or passed away, the students learned that 176 of the remaining 180 had achieved more than ordinary success as lawyers, doctors, and businessmen. The professor was astounded and decided to pursue the matter further. Fortunately, all the men were in the area, and he was able to ask each one, "How do you account for your success?" And in each case, the reply came with deep emotion. There was a teacher. The teacher was still alive, so he sought her out and asked the old but still alert lady what magic formula she had used to pull these boys out of the slums into successful achievement. The teacher's eyes sparkled and her lips broke into a gentle smile. "It's really very simple," she said. "I loved those boys." And my second story. Lee Shapiro is a retired judge. He is also one of the most genuinely loving people we know. At one point in his career, Lee realized that love is the greatest power there is. And as a result, Lee became a hugger. He began offering everybody a hug. About 6 years ago, Lee created what he calls his hugger kit. On the outside, it reads, "A heart for a hug." The inside contains 30 little red embroidered hearts with stickums on the back. Lee will take out his hugger kit, go around to people, and offer them a little red heart in exchange for a hug. One day, Lee's friend Nancy Johnson showed up on his doorstep. Nancy is a professional clown, and she was wearing her clown costume, makeup and all. "Lee, grab a bunch of your hugger kits and let's go out to the home for the terminal and severely disabled." When they arrived at the home, they started giving out balloon hats, hearts, and hugs to the patients. In time, Nancy and Lee acquired an entourage of doctors, nurses, and orderlies who followed them from ward to ward. After several hours, they entered the last ward. These were 34 of the worst cases Lee had seen in his life. The feeling was so grim that it took his heart away. But because of their commitment to share their love and to make a difference, Nancy and Lee started working their way around the room, followed by the entourage of medical staff, all of whom by now had hearts on their collars and balloon hats on their heads. Finally, Lee came to the last person, an older man named Leonard. Leonard was wearing a big white bib, which he was drooling on. Lee looked at Leonard dribbling into his bib and said, "Nancy, I'm not sure we can get through to this person." Nancy replied, "Come on, Lee. He's a fellow human being too, isn't he?" Then she placed a funny balloon hat on Leonard's head. She took one of the little red hearts and placed it on Leonard's bib. He took a deep breath, leaned down, and gave Leonard a big hug. All of a sudden, Leonard began to yell and squeal. Some of the other patients in the room began to clang things together. Lee turned to the staff for some sort of explanation, only to find that every doctor, nurse, and orderly was crying. Lee asked the head nurse, "What's going on?" She said, "This is the first time in 23 years we've seen Leonard smile." That chokes me up. My friends, the message is clear from these two stories: how simple it is to make a difference in the lives of others with love and devotion. We're going to go into our healing song now, and Phil has picked the Bryan Adams song, "I Do It For You." And I think what would be really nice is we can send love and healing to those who need it. We can picture them healthy, whole, and well, picture conflicts resolved as if it's already happened. But I think to fuel that healing, if we are to sit while we're listening to this song and think of those who we love and who we are devoted to, whether they walk in this world or the next, and really fuel this healing with love. Will you do that for us? All right, let me find the song, and then we will be back with Phil, Darren, and myself for the address.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Would you believe that that song was first turned down by Hollywood studios? For the film Prince of Thieves for Kevin Costner, they said it wasn't good enough. People have sung it before Bryan Adams, and it didn't do very well. But he made it #1 in the United Kingdom for 16 weeks. Because of his voice, it reached everybody. It was huge. And I know people symbolize that song with hope, with love, and devotion. Tonight's theme wasn't going to be the original theme I picked. And as I was thinking about the original theme, it just wouldn't flow. It just wouldn't come. And I did one of the greatest things that I love in life, sitting for the spirit world. And I thought, I'll sit, see if it would come. And as I sat, I heard the words, "I'll do it for you." And I thought, oh, Bryan Adams, love, devotion. And that's where the theme came from, an inspiration from the spirit world. And just like now, we're all sat in the power of the spirit world, letting you know that your loved ones are all around you. Because it's one of my greatest passions, one of my greatest loves, is to sit within that power, commune with the spirit world, but also share their stories with you when they communicate. Because I get to see life through their eyes. I get to understand their perceptions of life. And it touches my heart. And I've often said to many, many people, you can't do this work without it touching your heart, without it touching your soul. It's a passion. It's a joy. It's a dedication. It's devotion and service, not for self, but for a greater good, humanity, spreading positivity. People often think that mediumship is about proving that we still live after the physical death of the body. And yes, we get incredible evidence, but actually its true purpose is to inspire the living, to let them know that they are loved, to let them know they're thought of, that somebody is rooting for them. So love is more than just what we may feel with insiders. And actually, it's one of the hardest words to describe to somebody. How does love feel? What does love do? Well, we can answer what love does and how it feels. But for me, it's not just of my emotions and my feelings for my wife, Kerry, my children, my friends, the people I meet in life, the people that I work with. Actually, it's far more than that. It's giving of self. It's giving everything, accepting who we are and accepting other people for who they are. And that is the devotion. And when we think about it, when we're in love with somebody, one of the best words that we could use is surrender. Just like we do to the spirit world when we communicate, We surrender everything of ourselves to that other person. We happily make sacrifices because it makes the other person happy and it makes ourselves feel happy. But it's not just about loving your partners and your children. We have friends, we have parents, we have members of families, and also we associate with things that we may see on the television or listen to on the radio. We often say, oh, I'm going to definitely watch that film. I love that actor's voice, Morgan Freeman. And even when we hear people on the radio, Shades of the Afterlife, and we hear Sandra talk, actually, we love the voice. We're drawn to the voice. We depend upon that voice. Just like myself, Sandra, Darren, Kerry, we depend upon you. We love talking to you. We love interacting with you because it makes our days, our weeks very special. Every student we meet, we have a passion about them. Everybody that attends something of We Don't Die, we have a passion about them because we absolutely love to see the smiles upon their faces. We love to see that twinkle in their eyes. We love to see the voice. And I said, see the voice. You heard me correct, because it goes up and it goes down. And it's like music when we listen to people cheering, helping each other, sharing themselves. Here at We Don't Die with Sandra, myself and Darren and Kerry and Scott, we've built a community of people that are like-minded, that have a love for the spirit world, but also they have a love for each other. They depend on each other. They help each other get by. They have a lifeline, a helping hand that reaches out when another's in trouble. That is through love. That's not just an act of kindness. It's because they feel something. Love is something that we all have in this world. And if we gave it a chance, I know this world would be a better place. It would be a much nicer place. Just think when you next go on holiday and you meet somebody from another culture, they're just like the people at home. They may speak a different language, as Darren said within his prayer, but there is no difference. We're all related. We're all brothers and sisters. We all have love in our hearts. Even where religion is concerned, we're all entitled to worship and surrender ourselves and have a faith, which we choose. But actually, we're all the same. The skin, the blood, the brains, the body, everything is the same. But love extends more than just people, doesn't it? It reaches out to our four-legged friends or our furry friends, or even other reptiles that we have, because we share ourselves, we surrender ourselves to those as well. Sometimes when those furry friends, those four-legged animals, don't speak back to us, but we feel the pain, do we not, when we lose them? Isn't that love? The love that we share, the moments, the embraces, the many pets I've had within my life. I've cherished them. I've loved them. I still mourn them because they still bring smiles to my face. A dear friend over a few years ago passed this very week. And again, I bumped into a few friends today, helping my daughter out. Getting up at the crack of dawn to help her set up a stall was a love. My daughter said, "Thank you very much, Dad." I said, "You don't need to do or say thank you in any way, shape or form. It has been a sheer pleasure. It has been an absolute passion and love to do that with you, just to share time with her and the general public that attended." But bumping into friends and listening to their stories, I could feel the love between us all. And I've not seen some of those people for many, many years, where we used to work together, all kinds of weathers we worked through. And actually, it's a bond between us. And trying to describe that bond is actually love. A love that changes us, our mindsets, our heart sets, and our soul sets. Ladies and gentlemen, if you can have a moment's love in your life, then you're very lucky. You can inspire others with your stories of what you've experienced. It has been a pleasure to speak to you, and I hope through my words you have felt my love for Darren and Sandra, for Kerry, for all of you, because that's why we do this devotion of a Sunday gathering. I'm going to leave that with you. Thank you.
Thank you for those wonderful words, Phil. When we think of the words love and devotion, we automatically think of the people in our lives. But when you really look at love and devotion, it can be for anything. And I was thinking before we came online today, what am I going to talk to these people about that may be different to maybe what Phil or Sandra will talk about? And it's always hard trying to come up with something to kind of talk about. And we always have the conversation before we come on, and we'll say, do you know what, let's just go with it. Let the other world inspire us in some way. So we don't kind of repeat what each other said. And I got to thinking, love and devotion is not just about people. It can be about places. How many of us live in a country or an environment that we absolutely love and adore and completely devoted to? Like when I come to the United States, you know, I love coming to the United States, but just driving around and seeing different places. A lot of you in the United States have big flags of the United States outside your house, which shows pride. It shows devotion for your country. And you've got the devotion from living there, being there, working there. You know, you wouldn't do it if you didn't, would you? You wouldn't have that devotion. And when we look at the places we live, you know, the houses we live in, there's a saying in the UK, an Englishman's house is his castle. And it's so true when you think of the meaning behind it. Your house is your place, your private space, it's your castle, it's yours. Nobody can come in and tell you what to do. Nobody can come in unless they're invited. And and you think more nowadays, how much love do you have for your property, for your houses? I've been lucky enough to spend this past few days in Sandra's home. Absolutely stunning. You know, not just the house itself, but the outlook, the outside, the grounds. It's a perfect place. You can't help but be in love with it. And when we look at our homes, how devoted are we to our homes? How much money do we spend on our homes? You know, decorating, making it look nice. I mean, if you're like me, we spend hundreds, if not thousands. And we're coming up to the holiday season. You know, before we left, because we're not going back till later in December, we've decorated our house for the holidays. How many of you have done that and are probably prepping for that now? How much money do you spend on that? You know, we've seen a few houses around here in the neighborhood. You know, and we looked at one yesterday, and we said they must have been out there for days, absolute days, dressing their house up, making it look stunning for Christmas. So, and a lot of us are guilty of that. We spend a lot of time and money on our homes, because we've got a love and devotion for where we live. How many of you, when the weather brightens up, spend days in the garden, you know, picking out weeds, sweeping, raking, trimming the bushes, whatever it may be? Why? Because you've got that sense of pride, that love and that devotion, because it's your sacred space. And I know Phil's touched on it, but what makes a house a home? Our beloved pets. You know, how many of us have those animals that we're absolutely in love with, but completely devoted to? And you've seen it over the years, it's changed. You know, not only do we have the vets that we can take our animals when they're not feeling good and feeling under the weather, and you almost don't care how much it costs. You know, you would spend the earth if it meant your pet was going to be better. We've now got grooming parlors. You know, you go around shops and you can buy outfits for your pets, you know, to make them look part of the family, make them look Christmassy. And I know Sandra's laughing next to me here, but we do have, you know, and when it comes to Christmas, who's the first person now on your Christmas shopping list? Is it a family member, a friend, or is it your pets? And I know I've spoken to many friends and family, and going back years, you wouldn't have your pets on your Christmas shopping list. That's crazy. You're weird. But you know, now it's norm. They're part of our lives. You know, they're part of us. And again, there's another saying. You know, a dog is a man's best friend. And why is there that saying? When you think about it, it doesn't have to be a dog. It can be any animal, any four-legged friend or feathered friend. When you look, how devoted are they to us as human beings? When you look at any sort of animal, a dog or a cat, they don't care about your flaws. They don't care about what you've done wrong, where you've gone wrong. They love you for you. And they're absolutely devoted 100%. I know when I walk into my house, my cats are there to greet me every time I come home. You know, it doesn't matter what kind of day you've had, what you're going through, they are there, come rain or shine, they are there. And they show us complete and utter devotion and love. You know, they don't segregate us in any way, they don't judge us in any way. They're just there offering us pure love. And that's why I suppose, in respect, this time of year coming up to holidays, or to be fair, I think with any of us, I know Sandra, myself, we would spend any money we can on our, you know, our animal friends, or children as we call them. I know I've been here, and I know Sandra's mentioned it a lot on the Sunday gatherings about feeding the animals outside. That shows a complete love and devotion for the animal kingdom. You know, when you look outside, you know, and I've been watching out the window here, you've got the turkeys, you've got the birds, you've got the squirrels. They're happy, you know, they're getting fed. Somebody's showing them love and devotion, and in return, they show us love and devotion undeniably. So I think for me, when you're with love and devotion, it's not just for the people in our lives, but it's for the animal kingdom, it's for the places we live, the places we're part of. So love is a very easy thing to express, but I think devotion sometimes can be a little bit harder. So I think we just need to think sometimes with the devotion aspect, how can we truly show devotion to one another? Food for thought. And I'll hand you over to Sandra.
Well, thank you. I'm feeling love now. I wish Phil was in the same room here. We'd have a big Sandra sandwich, wouldn't we? Well, I'm feeling love and devotion. I truly am. God, the universe, the spirit world blessed me with the best friends I could ever have. And in exchange, I just want them to succeed. I want them to be successful, happy, loved. So it's really easy to show love for me and to love. When I first heard of love and devotion, though, that younger mind went, I'm the only single one. I've never met Mr. Right. And I'm an old spinster here at the age of 57. My goodness. Well, that's where I went first. Because I think as a kid, we're raised thinking that our prince or princess will show up and you'll live happily ever after. But of course, we all know that being in a relationship has its challenges. It absolutely does. So we always think the grass is greener on the other side. But once I realized, and what's beautiful about all the classes that we teach is the understanding and my true belief that whatever we don't experience here on earth, we get to experience in the spirit world, this unseen world. And whether it's here, later in life, in the afterlife, I'm sure Prince Charming is not far away. But the thing is I don't miss him and I don't really care about him. Of course, if he just showed up, I wouldn't turn him away. But the thing is I feel love in a way that I've never felt it before. Before COVID hit, I was very fast paced, working our catering business, doing whatever we could with We Don't Die in our live events. Very, very busy. And thankfully, even though I lost my source of income and we lost our business, I became present to a life and meaning and love and friendships and the relationship with my mom. And it's like there's been this explosion of love and devotion. I love the story at the beginning with the teacher and all of the 176 out of 180 people that became successful, all because of one person's love. It's said very often that love is the answer. No matter what the question is, love is the answer. And it is easy, if we think about it, to know that feeling of love for another person and be able to generate it wherever we are. We might see somebody pumping our fuel or in the stores. You never know what is behind those eyes. Why not generate a little love? Not in a creepy way, because, they're out there, but in just a genuine way. I was in a course once and I was very uncomfortable with something they had us do. Because when we first got into the course, you're looking at everybody and there's the beautiful people and the not so beautiful people and the people that are successful. And then those, that didn't feel so successful. And we had to take turns. And for 5 or 10 minutes solid, we had to get almost nose to nose with a stranger. Oh, that was not easy. but we had to look them right in the eye. And the initial reaction is, we start laughing, right? And instructor says, try not to laugh. But there was this magic that took place when you start focusing on just someone's eyes, and when the laughter dies down a little bit and you're just present with them. It was almost like a mirror to yourself. You felt the person's hopes and dreams and heartaches. And suddenly, these beautiful people, these uh, that I didn't feel part of, I guess we can put it that way, or the successful people, you got to see or feel behind those eyes. And it was in that moment that I realized that we're all the same. We're all the same. And so whether we're out at a store or a server at a restaurant, everybody might have a smile on their face, or even people on social media. Everybody shows the good stuff. But behind every single one of them, us, we have those questions, we have those fears, we have those hopes, we have suffering, we have grief. And by way of that original story of that teacher saying, I just loved them, she generated that love. And that's all it took for those young men to be successful, is to know somebody believed in them. So we never know the difference we can make. And another person I think we don't make a difference with in that whole love department is ourselves. Really, we all know that self-love is important. Love yourself, people say, but do we? If I was to quiz the people in your life and ask them what your best qualities are, you know what they'd tell me. You know how strong you are, what a good sense of humor you have, how generous, how compassionate. Maybe there's different things that you're good at. They would brag you up and down, all these wonderful things. But there's this thing that happens that we never see that about ourselves. So my request, myself included, and for all, is to not be so hard on ourselves. Maybe take a little inventory of what people would say about us, and love ourselves, be devoted to that person. As much as we love our family and friends, we truly are the only person that's going to take us from this side to the next, right? It's a solitary journey. But to have that person we see in the mirror be our best friend, to support them with the love and devotion like we would support someone in our life. Many of us will never have that champion by our side. Well, I think we have them, but I think they're in the invisible world around us. I think they're there. In fact, I know they're there, but we may not feel it. But if we can pretend for a moment that we are our biggest champion, what would be the best thing for us? Sometimes it is saying yes to things, and sometimes it is saying no to things. I have a funny feeling I speak amongst many who are very often there for someone else, but not there as much as we should be for ourselves. So as our week continues, my request is to be there for yourself in the way that you'd be there for someone else, with that love and devotion. And I trust everything I've learned from these guys, Phil, Carrie, Scott, and Darren, and things that I've personally experienced, that in and around this world, around each one of us, we have the biggest cheerleaders. They've walked this earth. They know how difficult it is. And often what we think is our imagination is them just letting us know that they're right here with us. And the day will come that we step off this earthly plane, and we'll have the committee, the greeting committee, and we'll experience something that there's been nobody who's ever been able to put it into words. When you hear people who have a near-death experience, the amount of love that is felt for you, that you feel, there's no words for it. So while we're here, we can generate just a little slice of that. Love the one you're with and love yourself. So with that, thank you. And that concludes our address. We're going to now move into that world of the unseen, the spirit world, the loved ones that are around us. I do believe that we can when we transition, we can have one foot in this world and also be continuing on with our hopes and dreams. And it's so evident week after week when we have beautiful reunions with members of our Sunday gathering and members of the unseen world. So if this is your first time with us, I'm going to explain a little bit about how the medium demonstration will go. And if you've been with us before, pretend it's your first time. I love doing that, right? Because I'm sure you're feeling that love for us and for Phil and for the people in your life and for the other Sunday gatherers. Phil is so kind to donate his time as our demonstrating medium today. The spirit world are behind this. You heard him say how inspiration comes from them. They have it as well. They are working with Phil. They'll pick who comes in and they'll work with his memories, his feelings, perhaps senses, smell and taste, hearing, who knows how they'll work. And they'll present themselves to Phil. So you'll hear Phil give a few initial bits of information about the spirit person that has connected with him. And rest assured, we are not balls of energy. We are still real people when we transition. And thankfully, we retain our sense of humor. We got to have that, right? So when Phil describes a person in the spirit world that's connected with him, if you can understand 100% of the information, as that's my person, we want you to press your raise hand button. So somewhere on your device, whether you're on a phone or whether you're on a computer, somewhere it should say raise hand. And go ahead, if you would, and press that for me right now, just to see what it feels like, see what it does. And those of you who think nobody knows you're here, well, your loved ones know you're here. So you may receive the contact and just be aware where that raise hand button is. Sometimes there may be 2 or more people that can take the information, and Phil will continue to work to get it down to 1 person. So as you listen, you say, oh, I can't take that information, then you'll want to press your lower hand button. Okay. Does that all make sense to everybody? I hope so. When we get down to 1 person, I've got a magic button I can press on my side. You'll see a pop-up that says host would like you to unmute, and there will be the unmute button. You can't see it right now, so don't worry. You don't have to have your face on camera. We just prefer to have your voice. And when you work with any medium, let them do the work. All you should say, they should deliver some information to you, and all you need to say is yes, no, or I don't know. Now, all mediums should have broad shoulders, and no simply means new opportunity. So if something doesn't feel right, you can say no, no problem at all. So yes, no, or I don't know. It happens often that we get so excited and we just want to volunteer information. But the problem with that is you can leave a reading not knowing if the medium truly brought in your loved one or if you volunteered the information. Anytime you get a good medium reading, you should just feel that love and that sense from the spirit world that they are here with us. And there's a sneaky thing about our spirit people that come through is even if you're not the person getting the message, you can take the message. So often you can hear things that I need a little bit of that. And just because you don't get the reading doesn't mean your loved one isn't standing right by your side. As you see, it's just Phil, Darren, and I on behalf of 100 and some people on our gathering today. There'll be a handful of spirit people on behalf of all of our loved ones. So that's how that goes. We always like to play a feel-good piece of music before we start our demonstration. And I just ask that you sit back, relax, feel a little joy, keep that love and devotion thoughts running through you. Picture your room packed, not just with an alive person, but with the love from your spirit world friends and family. They can be friends, they can be family, they can be people a little distant, but they're here, they're with us. And someday we'll join them, but not too soon. So here is our song, and then we'll be back with Phil and the demonstration. That is such a happy song. Thanks for picking that one, Phil.
It's a wonderful song, and it's one of another loves, isn't it? Music, how we love it and what it does to us. And you can see it's not just the ladies, the men, the reactions to that group, that song, it's incredible. But it is that time of the service that we embrace the love of our loved ones. And know, ladies and gentlemen, that you are embraced right now by those loved ones. Whether it's somebody else's contact, whether it is yours, that love will be felt by many. And that is the purpose of mediumship, to inspire those still here. And it is a great love of mine. And as I extend my power, my love to that love of the spirit world, and I ask for those loved ones to come around, I hope that they, with their words, touch you. As mediums, we never know what evidence we're bringing through. We never know whether it's good enough. It is only you that receives the contact that knows it and feels it. And that is the whole point of mediumship. So as I become aware of the spirit world, I do believe here I have Mother. Now, I also know Mother is a little bit of a force to be reckoned with, because I also feel that she's got a very big personality, and she spoke what she thought. And I also get the impression there's memories here with her of her speaking her mind. So I know there will be uncomfortable moments in the family as she shared her thoughts with individuals, as you were listening and present as well. But I also feel with Mum, she was a lady that I want to say was married more than once as well, because I get that feeling life wasn't easy for her. So I know I have Mum, I know she can be outspoken, but I know it's how life treated her. And I also feel she was married more than once as well. And I get the impression there was a long illness before she passed, but I want to say her love of life kept her fighting spirit.
Thank you, Phil. All right, friends, who understands that information? Go ahead and press your raise hand button for us, please. All right, Phil, we have several people in our gathering
I would
today that can
imagine
understand that.
so. I would imagine so. But I also feel here the name of Mary would also be there. And I feel I'm either talking about her or her mother as well. And I also get the impression that the person I wanted to be speaking to would have the wedding photographs of Mother as well.
So Mary could be her mom's name or
Yes.
the grandmother's name. All
Yes.
right. So if you'd lower your hands if you cannot understand Mary being the mother's name or the grandmother's name. All right. We do have one remaining person. We have Patricia. Hi, Patricia. If you could press your unmute. A little technical difficulties. There you are. Hello.
I think
Hello,
it's,
Patricia.
That's you. We hear you.
I don't think it's me.
You don't think it's you? That's absolutely fine. Thank you, Patricia. When I saw your name, I thought, doesn't feel right. Okay. But I just get the impression here as I work. So thank you for coming forward, Patricia. I still want to talk about Mum. I know there was that long illness. I know she could be outspoken. If I'm wrong with that name, then I'm going to put that to one side for the moment. But I know it would connect within the family.
The name Mary connects
Yes.
within the family. So those of you
because I'm not going to let go of that totally. I'm going to bring that back in a minute.
Okay, thank you. All
So
right, if you take all that information and the name Mary is within the family, keep the hands raised. We have Stacy and Lori with their hands
I
raised.
also feel where Mother's concerned, she was an advocate for ladies. So I know here she would help other ladies. I feel that she wants to almost stand up for them as well. So I know I get that impression.
Okay. Well, Stacy is our, well, let's see.
We got two. We got
We
two.
got two.
That's fine. I'll keep on working, because I just feel here, and where I say she was an advocate for other ladies, I feel that she was quite selfless. She would have done acts of kindness. She would have helped them out. And I actually feel that's in personal circumstances as well. And I feel that this was only found out after she passed or through friends after she had gone.
Thank you, Phil. All right. We have two with their hands raised, Sherry
Okay.
and Marla.
That's fine. And I also feel with mum as well that mum would have been a big advocate for little keepsakes from everybody that I wanted, the person I want to be talking to. So I know there will be little cherished gifts, there will be cards, and I know they would have been kept. But I also know mum liked to talk about her old memories as well.
Thank you. Ladies can both take that information. Sherry and Marwa.
Can we bring Sherry in, please, just for a second?
Absolutely.
Because I get drawn to her.
Sherry, if you could press your unmute button. She lowered her hand, Phil, just before you said that. Sherry, are you with us? Yeah, Phil, she lowered her hand just before.
That's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine, because I just get the impression she would have loved to have talked about the old days. And I know there would have been going through photographs as well. So I don't want to go too much further because I know I should be been resonating with somebody as well so far.
Right, let's see if Marwa or Marva, could you press your unmute button?
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
Could you
Hello,
understand
Marwa.
most of that? Oh, sorry, Phil.
Sorry, I'm just saying hello to Marwa.
Hello. I do understand most of it, but the part that she'd been married more than once, I don't get.
Then I'm just going to check in with, if I've got that wrong a little bit, that wouldn't be you, would it?
No.
That's fine. I'm not with you. I don't feel I'm there. I don't feel I'm there. Thank you for coming forward, though, Marwa. I hope it's a beautiful name, by the way.
All right, Phil, let's see. We have Laura with her hand raised. Laura, if you could press your unmute button. Hi, Laura.
Hi.
Hello,
Phil.
Lara.
Hi, Sandra.
Hello. What do you understand of what I've said, Lara, just to see if I'm with you?
So everything.
Everything. Okay, good. Because that's what I want. I can't ask for a better thing than that. So do you
Okay.
understand with your mum that she could be quite strong-minded, though?
Absolutely.
Because it feels where I can't change her mind, and each time I go back, she just, it's either she would just get on with things and just ignore me. So I know that's how strong-minded she could be.
Yes.
Okay, and I also feel that you would have memories where she would speak her mind to people in front of you.
Yes, absolutely.
And I know it
Yes.
could be a little bit embarrassing because I know she could cut straight to the truth.
Yes.
And I don't want to say she was unruly, but I know her words would hit and hit properly. And I get that impression. But I want to say that your mum, even though life at parts wasn't great, because I know there was those 2 marriages, correct?
Yes, correct.
Because again, it feels where things weren't easy for me. And I want to say it's where I would have lost more or less everything with that first marriage.
Yes.
Because it feels where I had to grab hold of life, pick myself up and work hard. But I always tried to stay positive where I could.
Yes.
And with her illness, I feel that positivity of her mind fighting as well.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And it also feels with her, Lara, that she was also very appreciative towards the end, those latter years of her life, to little gifts such as cards or keepsakes.
Yes. Yeah, that makes
Because
sense.
I get that impression those personal interactions would mean a great deal to her, because it's always her way of expressing what she thought. Now, would I be right in saying, Lara, there was moments of real tenderness with your mum?
Yes.
Because it feels where I want to sit with you and really open up and share things with you that I didn't share with other people.
Yes, that makes sense.
And I also feel within the family, she wouldn't share things either. There was people, I'm going to choose my words carefully. There'll be
Yes.
people here, I'm going to be very polite, I wouldn't give the time of day.
Yes.
Okay. And I know as well, I want to say your mum wasn't everyone's cup of tea either.
Yes.
Because it
Correct.
feels as much as she was one way, the others were the same way towards her as well. But I also feel there would be memories towards those latter years where she would have gone through photographs with you.
That I don't remember.
bear with me. Would I be right in saying your mother kept a lot of old photographs?
I think so, but I'm not
Because
sure.
it feels where I want to be explaining who they are. So if I look at this slightly differently, would I be right in saying they're still kept within the family? Somebody has got the old black and white photographs.
Yes.
Because I know there's people on there that either you don't recognize, but I know Mum speaks about the past. And it's almost where Mum, and this is part of the message, Mum didn't let the past turn her into the lady she was at the end. She made the most of life. She fought for life.
Yeah.
She tried to live life as well. And I know she has one regret, that she didn't show you life enough. So I know here she fought to stay. Understand?
Yes,
And if
absolutely.
I'm right, you must have cared for your mum as well before she passed.
Yes.
Because I know I've got to say thank you for that care. And I also feel that you would have tended to her needs, because I feel your mum was immobile and not able to respond at the end.
Yes, absolutely.
And I also know it feels like you were last with her shortly before she passed.
Yes.
Because it feels where you would have rubbed her face and you would have interacted with her, talking to her, and I know you leave and I pass. Understand?
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
I believe also you have either quotes or little like plaques or like antique things of your mum's as well.
Yes.
And I know they're like quotes, there's writing on them.
Yes, that's right.
Because it feels where the little sayings are the gems of life, the diamonds of life.
Yeah.
Because I just want to leave you with those diamonds to let you know. And I'm just trying to get my head around what I've just received, just so I can get this in the right context. Would I be right in saying from a young child, your mother used to instill either little quotes about living your life to the full?
Yes.
Because she keeps on giving me a little quote I recognize: keep looking to the stars, reach for those stars, because you'll never know where in the universe you'll land. So I know that's all about, she's rooting for you from the spirit world, and she wants you to really reach as well and live that life. I'm going to leave her love with you. Bear with me, I just want to go back though. Would I be right in saying that it would be Mary, her name?
Hey, yes and no, but I understand that.
Okay, that's
Very,
fine, because I kept on wanting to go back, then all of a sudden I still want to place it with your mum. That's fine, because that's fine.
it's
So I'm going to
very
leave.
significant. Yeah, it's
Okay,
very
that's fine.
significant.
Good. Because I
Thank
need
you.
to leave that and place that with you and say thank you very much, Lara, for coming forward and
Yes.
allow me to get the right person. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
Phil. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mom. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Laura.
Do you know, as each time we connect with the spirit world, there's just this feeling of overwhelming love that we receive as we're doing the contacts, and to get to the right person makes a huge difference as well. That's fine. As I become aware of the spirit world, ladies and gents, I feel I want to bring Father forward. And as I work with Father, it feels where I want to say he wasn't in your life at the latter part of his life. It feels where there was that little bit of distance between us. And it's almost like I want to say we lost touch as well, because I know there seems to be regrets here with Father as well. And I get that impression that I just want to bring that forward. But I also feel that Father at one point would have been in military service as well. So I know he would have served his country. I also feel with Father that he was a man, how can I put this? I want to say that he could be quite unkind at times as well. And I know this, I know it sounds horrible, but I know he could be unkind with his words, and I have to stay true to him. So I know I've got Father. I know there was a estrangement, but I know there was harsh words as well. He wasn't always kind.
Thank you very much, Phil. All right, we do have someone with their hand raised. It would be Maria. If you would press your unmute. Oh, I spoke too soon, Phil. We have 3 people with their
That's
hands
absolutely fine. I would
raised.
expect that as well. But
Yeah.
I also feel with Dad, I want to say, it's almost where I'm just looking at this. I want to say our last memories of him is where he would have lived in like a small town, a rural town. And that's the impression I get with him. So I know there's that small side to it. And it feels where I want to be. I get that impression I'm a bit of a loner with him as well.
Okay, thank you. Our friends with your hand raised, if you can take all that information. Your dad was a bit of a loner, lived in a small town. If yes, keep your hands raised. If no, lower your hands. Phil, we still have 3 ladies
Okay.
with their hands raised.
That's absolutely fine. But I also feel as well, he would have worked either in some kind of engineering, like mechanics or something with it as well.
Okay.
I actually feel I want to be in the States or somewhere that side.
In the United States, somewhere in that side. Well, I know one of the 2 with their hands raised is not in the United States, and I don't know about the other one. Chastity has her hand raised. Let's bring her in. Chastity, if you could press your unmute button. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Welcome.
Hello. Can I pronounce that Chastity? Is that how you pronounce it?
Close, Chastity.
Chattersy. Okay, I'll get there. My words are not great when I have a different name, but it's a lovely name as well. So you understand everything I've said?
Yes,
Okay. And would you understand where, and I just want to go back to something where there was distance between Dad and you.
correct.
And if I said that there were some unkind words exchanged or said,
Yes,
because it feels here as I'm talking about this, there's a huge regret within his life. And I feel that regret is not sorting this out, not putting old ghosts to bed from him. But I also believe he would have lived in that small town.
yes,
And it feels where he would it be right in saying he was some kind of either mechanic or something to do with engineering?
that's the one I don't know 100% because he worked a lot of different areas.
Thank you. You just jogged my memory because I know he worked lots of different jobs, but I know there's a memory of almost. And would I be right in saying you either tried to find him or contact him?
Yes,
Because I know there's an acknowledgement of this from him. He knows about it. And would I be right in saying there was letters exchanged at one point?
yes,
Because I know it's almost like I want to return, I want to acknowledge letters with him. But if I said he was very much an enigma, it's almost like we didn't know what we were going to get or receive from him.
yes,
Because again, as each time I go back, I just don't know what's going to come or if he will engage with me. So there must have been times where you tried to contact and did not know whether he will get back in touch.
correct.
Because I just get that impression. But have I also said that he did like his own time?
Yes,
But I also believe with him, would I be right in saying he would have liked to drink as well?
oh my gosh, yes,
Because again, it's almost where I know I'm drowning my sorrows and I know I'm pitying myself, and I get that real strong impression from him that there's just this essence where I'm not the best at facing up to my ghosts, my fears, my emotions, and I seem to drown them in drink.
correct.
Before he left, would you understand where he wasn't the nicest of people around the family?
Yes,
Because and if I said that drink was present then as well,
correct.
because it just feels here I have many, many regrets and I am not hiding it, or nor should I. I need to apologize. And I know words can never be enough. I get the impression it feels here actions will be louder. And I know he wants to come forward. He wants to plant that seed of healing and he wants that permission to be a true father to you as well. So I know here I'm getting all these impressions. Would I be right in saying you have just a few photographs of him?
Yes.
And I know quite recently you were talking to one of those photographs,
Correct.
because he says, I was there, I watched you, I learned, and I love you too. I wish I would have said it more, and I wish I would have put things right. He has a lot of things, like I said, to make up for, because I know there was periods of time where he never showed that love.
Yes.
He also makes me aware of him being around you. Would I be right in saying you still keep those letters from him?
Mm,
Give me a no if it's not correct, because it feels
I don't
either
know.
we've kept. Thank you. You must have some. If it's not letters, you must have some paperwork of his,
I'm not sure.
because I know here there should be either a box or keepsake where there's photographs and there's papers and things as well. And I know if I said he could be quite adamant and quite forceful, would you understand?
Yes.
Because he is not backing down over this. So I know there's things being kept, and I know it's been kept in a box as well. Forgive me. Would I be right when things went wrong in the family with Dad? You hoped and prayed that he would come back and he would make amends for things,
Yes.
because he says, I know I'm too late, but I'm trying to do it now, because he's heard those thoughts and prayers, and he's had time to reflect on his life and his actions. And I know as I push into them, he pushes me out. So I know there's personal things there as well. I want to also say, though, they're not all bad memories.
Correct.
There must be memories where he took you to fairs or like open circuses, we call them here in the United Kingdom.
Yes.
Because I know it's almost like I want to buy you candy flosses, I want to take you to fairgrounds, and I want to spoil you one-on-one. So he must have taken you by himself.
Yes.
Because again, it feels like I want to do little games and events on these fairs to win you little prizes.
Correct.
Yeah. And I know these are fond memories. And I know this should take you back to your young childhood. And I know he gives me the impression of him looking down at you before things went the way that they did. And his eyes are just lit up. And I know these are fond memories of him as well. You must have kept either one of the things he won off that fair as well.
I don't know.
Because he reminds me of either a little teddy bear or little cuddly toy that he would have given you, that he seems you were chuffed with as well. But I know the reason for his contact is to help you move forward, and he's here to move things forward. And if I said very politely, he makes me aware of how life has been just recently, where we could do with that positivity.
Correct.
Because that's the reason I'm here. I can't repeat those words from your dad. He wants to kick bottoms, to move things to make things happen. So I know it's about pushing you forward. So I'm going to leave his love, that regret that he wants to heal and wants to, but he also, if I'm right with this, you've asked him to come forward, but you want to hear him directly to you. So cutting out the medium.
True.
Because he says, I'm doing my best. So I'm going to leave his love with you, and I'm going to leave that positivity and that acknowledgement that your prayers, your thoughts, your words are heard by your Father, and he wants to make amends, and he loves you dearly, and he's so proud of what you've gone through and how you've come out the other end and how life in his hands is now going to try and help it to become better.
Thank
So I'm
you.
going to leave his love with you and say thank you very, very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Good.
you, Chelsea.
Good.
Thank
Okay.
you.
That's good. Okay. So as I become aware of the spirit world once more, I know I have somebody's son here. I know that son chose to, I'm going to be very polite, pass by his own hands. I also feel here there was addictions involved as well. So I want to talk about substances and alcohol. I also feel that I'm not a young boy. I feel I'm either late teens or in my early 20s as well. And I feel that I'm not far out of college or university.
Thank you very much. Who understands these words? If you'd be so kind as to press your raise hand button, please. Phil, we have Mary with her hand raised and Dana.
Okay, that'd be two people. That's fine. I also feel as well. In fact, I feel quite strongly with Mary. So can we bring Mary's in? Can we bring Mary in?
Yes, we'll bring
That's
in
fine.
Mary. Everyone else keeps listening in. Hi, Mary.
Good, 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 good.
Hi.
Hello, Mary. So you understand what I've said?
Yes, I do.
Okay. And if I said that your son, even though I know how he's passed and I know he had life in front of him, if I said he was quite a popular young boy, young man,
Yes.
because it feels like I've got everything going for me. And I want to say this happens either out of the blue and was not expected,
Yes.
because it just feels where it's almost where I want to keep those addictions and things secret.
Yes.
Because again, it feels that not many people knew or would have known about it. But I also feel with your son that I want to say that where he was quite popular, he did have a lot of friends.
Yep. Yes, indeed.
And I want to say while he was in those school years, he was one of the favorites as well.
Yes.
And it feels where I would have been good at my sports and either played for one of the teams of the school.
He was good at sports.
Okay, then there must have been thank you. Then there must have been a desire where he tried out and didn't quite make it.
Yeah, he kind of quit.
Okay, because I know he didn't quite make it, because I know that side of things. Because again, but I feel that even though you used the word he would have quit, I actually feel though that in some way he would have given it his all, he'd given it his best.
Yes.
And again, I want to say he doesn't stay down long. I feel that where he was quite positive.
Yes.
And it's almost where I could encourage and inspire other people as well with my positivity.
Yes.
And I get that impression with him that he would have been known for this. And I want to say through that community of friends, people had no idea about his passing and those addictions.
Yes.
Because there's that impression with him. But I also feel here, I want to say he was quite selfless because I know he helped other people.
Yes, he did.
And I also know, bear with me, I'm just going to go in, there's something I've got and I need to look at this. I also know he was quite confident with people as well.
Yes.
And I also know he would have shared a lot with you.
Yes.
But I want to say, in his words, I am sorry for letting you down, Mum. I am sorry for letting you down. You are a good mum. You are the best. And I want to confirm that it was nothing that you did. You couldn't have done any more. It was just his mindset, almost like there was a hidden depression or a hidden illness there with him.
Yeah.
Would I
Yes.
be right in saying that you still have his school photographs and his from school?
Oh, yeah.
And those photographs really capture the essence of who he is, like the smile and the eyes lighting up.
Yes. Yeah.
And I want to say that there's some that are taken either in the school hall where the sports took place.
I'd say that again. What?
Would I be right in saying that some of those photographs are taken in the school hall or the main part of the school where all the kids got together?
I think so. I don't know.
Because
sure.
I know here there's photographs, because it looks like behind I've got all that the other pupils, the other people, the attendees as well. And would I be right in saying you've still got some of his school works?
Oh yeah.
Because it feels, and would I also be right in saying you've got some of his clothes as well?
Yep. Got them
And
all.
in the old days, just after his passing, you would smell those clothes to get his scent.
Yes. Yeah.
And I know you would kiss some of those clothes as well.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
he's acknowledging, I've always been with you every step of the way. Since my passing, I have never left your side. And I know you've said some very personal prayers, and I know there's been some dark moments for you as well, Mum, but I've always been there cheering you on as you cheered me on, supporting me through my school days when things were tough, but you kept on saying, keep on trying. Understand?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Would I also be right in saying that he made stuff at school and brought it home as well?
Yes.
And would I be right in saying there was either a Christmas ornament that he made at school,
Yes.
and you still put it out every year?
Yes, I do.
Because he's acknowledging it as well. And I know you've given that a kiss, and I know you think of me as your angel, Mum, as well.
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I also know when you find little signs like little tiny feathers, little tiny ones, you acknowledge him.
Yes. Yeah.
But I also believe that sometimes when you're looking out the back of the house that you see birds, and you often think of him as well.
Yes.
Because he's acknowledging that thought and that interaction, and where he's also acknowledging where you speak to the birds and say, fly free. Understand?
Yes.
Because I know here he just wants to show you how much is around you. And I also believe that you're thinking of getting those Christmas decorations out early. Would that be correct?
Yep, I did last night.
Thank you. Wonderful. Because I know he's aware of that. But I also believe you've thought about changing some of them.
Yes. Yes, I did.
But I also believe you've not got rid of the old ones. You've still kept them.
Yes.
Because he says, they remind you of me. And I know that's why you're keeping them as well. I don't know what it's called, so either you or Sandra will help me. There is a little like candle holder with 3 candles, and I know it represents something at Christmas.
The Advent wreath?
Yep, that's the one. Do you understand where you have one of those?
Yeah. Well, I just bought one last night.
Ah, that's fine. So I know he's mentioning that, so he shows you where he's around you. But I know it's not just the thought of buying it as you have, it's the thought that you have about lighting. And I
Yes.
know one of the candles represents your son.
Oh, yes. Yes.
I want to leave his love, his utter devotion to you. And I want to make you proud, Mum. So I know he is still trying to do what he can from the spirit world for the family and yourself. And if I'm right, you personally have put something out at Christmas just for him and nobody else knew, like a little treat or something. Because I know he makes me aware of that action. Forgive me. Would there be a memory also where when he was very young, he either caught you or Dad putting presents out or putting something out at night?
Probably. I don't.
Because I know here he's got that memory within his mind, but I know he was only young when he has that memory. So I'm going to leave those thoughts, those inspirations his love, but most of all, he just wants to run in and give you a hug like he used to when he was very young. And I know, that scent as the young children, they've just been washed and bathed and they have that lovely smell. I know he wants to bring all those scents back. And I'm going to leave his love with you and say thank you so much for allowing me to feel his love, his emotion, and his devotion towards you.
Thank you. Thank you
You're
very much.
absolutely welcome. You're absolutely welcome, Mary.
Thank
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to be in the arms of the spirit world, feeling that love, those voices as we hear them and those impressions that we receive really touch the soul of the medium. And it's one of mine and Kerry's big things that we know as we develop, we change as people. We have more empathy, more understanding, more love within our hearts to share. And we wish everybody going forward that love and devotion in your life. And we hope you feel that love of your loved ones from the spirit world.
Thank you very much, Phil. And anyone, we always recommend you take a class in mediumship. Even if you don't want to be a medium, there is this magic that happens that you actually get to feel the love for somebody who might be a total stranger and have memories that are not yours. And it's just a nice way to know that the spirit world is real, is to have those experiences ourselves. Some announcements before I turn it over to Phil for some words for the week. First of all, our tutors are traveling. As you can tell, Darren's by my side, Scott's in the other room. Carrie and Phil will be on a flight. They'll be heading to the United States to New Jersey. Many of you I know get to see them live and in person. So we will not have our regular student classes this week as they will be gone, but there's some other great things happening. First of all, our new classes are open for registration. We have a beautiful class with Scott called Trance in the Altered States for December, also one for January. Carrie and Phil are back the first week in January for their new classes. You can take a class in mediumship. We've got medium level 1 and medium level 2. They also have a new Tuesday class starting called Color and the Aura. So you get to learn about different colors. You get to do some drawings, bring your crayons and colored pencils, and everyone's welcome to join us for that. This coming week, we have our friends Kath and Mitch Shirley, who are advanced grief recovery therapists. They are going to do a free event called a Grief Cafe, starting whatever time it is for you right now. It will be starting on Thursday, and of course, that is free. Next Sunday, we have our special guest, Shirley Ann Sharp, who's going to be with me for our Sunday gathering. And following that, we have Dr. Craig Hogan, who will be doing a presentation on evidence of the afterlife. Craig is the president of the Afterlife Research and Education Institute, and he's also written, I believe, 8 books on the afterlife. He is one of the world's leading experts on reasons to believe. As you may remember from last Sunday, we are donating, having a fundraiser towards a new film coming out called Evidence of the Afterlife. So the demonstration or presentation by Craig Hogan is certainly part of that. You can find everything coming up at wedon'tdie.com. Just click on the store page. Also, as far as fundraisers go, every year we like to raise money for one of our favorite charities, which is Demelza Children's Hospice in the UK. Our friend Scott Milligan will be back on the 8th of December doing a full hour and a half demonstration of trance mediumship, which is a wonderful time to celebrate the holidays and also ask your questions to those in the spirit world. Always very special. Everything we offer, you will get a replay of. So if you can't join us live for one of our classes or demonstrations, don't worry, you'll get the replay. Our loved ones are alive and well, no matter what evidence comes through of things that maybe there's a little guilt or something from when they lived. People are healthy, well, happy, whole, and we will see them again. If you ever need a little shot in the arm or boost to let you know that all of this is real, please remember there's a free copy of my book. If you're a student with us, it's already in your student library. If you're brand new to us, just go to the homepage, wedon'tdie.com. If you enter your name and your email address, it'll say the first few chapters of the book. It's the whole book. Chapter 10 is about grief. It's very healing. But the other chapters are things like talking about what I said earlier, as far as loving yourself, and there's some good exercises in there. It's a handbook for being human. So I think maybe I wrote it for myself. I'm not sure, but I know it does help me remember the bigger picture of life. So everything you can find at wedon'tdie.com. Again, you can find the Sunday gathering there as well. And for those of you who have donated to make our Sunday gathering possible, on behalf of all of us, we really do appreciate it. Donations can be found at that Sunday gathering page, again at wedon'tdie.com. So that's it for the announcements. I am going to send it over to Phil, bring Darren back in my screen, and yeah, thank you. Over to you, Phil.
Thank you very much. And since we're in the business of sharing things, we've not shared with Sandra yet, but we've got some wonderful free things coming up over Christmas. So watch the websites and watch the announcements by Sandra, because we've got some marvelous ideas. And talking about love and devotion, Mr. Craig Hogan, I love listening. He's got one of those voices, just like Morgan Freeman, you can listen to, and the insights that he gives you are absolutely wonderful. And I know Sandra mentioned there the fundraising events. It's absolutely wonderful. People have been so generous with that our hearts are just bleeding with love because of what you've all given and what you're all doing. So it's been an absolute wonder. But I want to share that last bit of love for you to keep you inspired for this week, because the love we have for our four-legged friends, the love we have for our children, our partners, is overwhelming at times. And the little things that they do for us every day that we may take for granted, please don't. Please let them know they are loved. Right now, reach out for them. Send them a message if they're not with you. Send them a little text. Just let them know. Give them that kiss on the cheek, or give them that smile, because human kindness, human love goes a long, long way in this world. And the more that we can share it, the better this world will be. So from me to you and my wife, Kerry, we love you all, and Sandra and Darren. It's absolutely wonderful that we've been able to share this time, and please feel that love from the spirit world. Until next time we meet, I'm going to hand over to Darren.
Thank you for that, Phil, and thank you for putting together a wonderful Sunday gathering once again. And again, thank you to each and every one of you for joining us here each and every week. We truly do appreciate it. So, if you'd all like to close your eyes and join me for today's closing prayer. We'd like to thank our friends, brothers and sisters from across our lands for uniting here together today as one under that banner of We Don't Die, and for coming together sharing your love and devotion, allowing each and every one of us the opportunity to experience the wonderment of joining the two worlds together as one. And we'd like to express our sincere thanks and gratitude to all those friends, helpers and loved ones in that world we call unseen, for being here with us not only today but each and every Sunday, allowing these Sunday gatherings to take place, and for showing the faith and devotion, allowing us to walk hand in hand, side by side, so we may deliver these Sunday gatherings together, allowing us to absorb the healing balm and the love, and to hear those words and thoughts which will be etched in our hearts and minds forever, allowing us to leave this Sunday gathering in a much better place than when we started. As we bring this Sunday gathering to a close and allow the sun to set on this Sunday gathering and this Thanksgiving weekend, we can go forward to a new day and a new week, continuing to tread our own individual pathways, our journeys of life, going forward with love and devotion within our hearts and our minds that we can share with all those around us within our lives today. And in doing so, we can go forward in our lives knowing that you continually walk by our side, helping us, guiding us and inspiring us to truly be the best individuals we can be. And we can go forward in the comfort and knowledge to know that love and life are both eternal. As we leave here today, we ask once again that healing balm continues to shine to all four corners of our land, to bring the comfort, love and healing to all those hearts and minds that we need here today. Until we meet again, my friends. Amen.
Thank you very much, Darren and Phil. Great being with the two of you guys and all you gals and guys in our gathering. As we go into our closing song, it's a beautiful song that Phil's picked, 1,000 Years, and this happens to be his and Carrie's special song from their wedding. But as we go out, whether you have a special someone in your life, could be a four-legged or feathered one, and if not, I ask we each take a little time to just direct a little self-love. Be proud of yourself. Love yourself. We're proud you're here. You're one of a kind. Don't change a thing. Now let's listen to our closing song. Beautiful song choices, Phil. I was just sitting here. Somebody said, "Smile, Darren." We forget that we're on camera, but he's happy inside. Yeah, 1,000 years. That's a lot of Sunday gatherings. And once we've left planet Earth, we're going to let you guys take it over. But I think we'll be going on 1,000 years. Phil, thank you for picking a beautiful theme and sharing your heart. And to you too, my friend, and Carrie behind the scenes, we love you. All right, everyone. We will see you next week. Thanks again. Bye.